Um, Basically how I do my consultations, you guys, is a lot of the way that I get my clients is through Facebook. So for those that are new, those that are struggling to get clients, I do have my YouTube channel, which someone can throw in the chat on my team. And I would challenge you to go to the marketing section. So you can see exactly how I get my leads, which essentially is through Facebook groups, messaging people directly, and I have a structure and a structure that works. So with that said, to give a little context and background, Kelly and I connected over Facebook Messenger. You're looking to go on a family vacation and you don't know where. Cool. All
Okay,
right.
perfect.
All right. Hey, Kelly, how's it going today?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm really excited about this trip.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I guess tell me a little bit more about what the excitement is. Like, what are you looking forward to most?
I just need to get away. I just want to be able to, not have to cook and clean and get away from work and just enjoy myself, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you looking to go by yourself with your family? Tell me a little bit more about what this looks like.
Yeah, so I'm gonna take my family. It's gonna be my husband and my three kids.
Okay, I love it. What are your kids like? I mean, what are their personalities like? What are they
Um,
into?
yeah, so yeah, I got a teenager who's acting like a teenager. So I have a teenage boy, he's 15, and I have a 10-year-old son as well, and then I have a 13-year-old daughter.
Aw.
So they all like to do like different stuff.
So I guess tell me about the stuff, if it's all different, break down each child so we can make sure we're hitting everyone's preferences.
Um, so both of my sons really like to hike a lot. They like to hike and be outdoors. My daughter, she tolerates it, but she doesn't love it. But she is like into basketball and stuff. So she does some active stuff, but she's just not as much into the hiking, I guess.
Yeah,
But she does
absolutely.
like to bike ride and we do that all together.
Oh, that's fun. Do you guys ride around the neighborhood or where do you guys go on your bike rides?
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes we throw our bikes on our bike racks, and we'll drive out to the mountains and we'll, do some riding out there.
Fun. What mountain are you near? Or like, I guess where are you located exactly?
I'm in Arizona,
Ooh,
so I'm
that's
near
a
like
perfect
Scottsdale.
location. I love it.
Hmm.
The Southwest is actually my favorite place in the entire United States. Fun fact, I moved out on a whim to San Diego from Chicago. So I'm back in Chicago now, but I moved to San Diego on a whim. And on my way back to Chicago, so when I was moving back home, I went on a 10-day solo road trip throughout the Southwest. So I really adore Utah, Arizona, and all those places. And you guys are really lucky and blessed to have those mountains.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. Yeah.
So it sounds like you and your family enjoy the outdoors. Now, the means of the outdoors can be a little bit different. It can vary from time to time, meaning your son's like hiking, your daughter will tolerate it. Collectively, it sounds like you guys like to bike ride. So it tells me that you guys are an adventurous family to some degree. Does that sound accurate?
Yeah, yeah. But we really want to go near some water. Like we would really like to do some water sports. Like
Yeah.
I like to snorkel.
Okay.
My husband scuba dives. I do not, will not. But my oldest son is thinking about doing that with his dad.
Okay.
But I would stick to snorkeling. But yeah, we're pretty adventurous. We would do like, zip lining and all those kind of fun things. We're not too scared, I
I
guess
love
you'd
it.
say.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love the fearless type of people. You guys are definitely my kind of people. Okay, so water, when you mention water, what does that visual look like to you exactly? Can you describe that vision in your head?
I want to be in the water. I like to watch the water, but I don't like to just lay on the beach.
Okay.
If I'm going to be by water, I want to be in the water. I love to be on a boat,
Okay.
of some kind. But yeah, I would rather be in the water when I talk about water, not just looking at it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm
Do
not
you
a lay on the beach kind of girl. I'm a redhead, so I burn.
Yeah, no, I feel you. Surprisingly, I'm not a lay on the beach type person either. I get very antsy. So I like to
Mm,
be in the water. I like to be talking. I like to be walking along the beach, like physically touching the water. So I feel you on that.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Do you have a specific visual of what the water looks like? I know you want to be in it, but some people, when I say that, like some people, they have this vision of where they want to go. They want it to be more tropical. They want it to be more white, sandy beaches. There are people that don't really care, just get me in water. So I guess where are you in that mix?
Mm. Well, I've heard of that there's places with pink beaches. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know where those are, but pink beaches would be. I mean, I don't really care where we go. If I had my choice though, a pink beach would be kind of cool.
Oh yeah.
But I'd like to collect rocks. That's one thing my daughter likes to do is collect rocks or sea glass and pebbles and stuff like that.
Love it.
So that would be kind of cool. That would give her something that she really enjoys. She's got a whole collection.
Yeah, that's super awesome. I actually am really trying to get my way out to Pink Beach as well. I don't know off the top of my head where the pink beaches are. However, I do know I just finished a trip to South America for a client. There is a pink beach in South America. So have you ever thought about South America?
No. Well, I've thought about Peru and I've also thought about because of Rainbow Mountain, but I've also thought I think I heard that not Aruba, but
Australia?
Bermuda has a pink beach, I heard, and they have
Okay,
like grottos and caves you can swim in,
I love
which
it.
I thought would be kind of cool.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds like a really good time. So Bermuda, have you heard
But
of
I'm up for anything.
anything? Okay, cool. Yeah, so we'll get into later how I kind of do proposals. It's really just about you guys right now. So Bermuda, pink beaches. Um, as far as like the preferences and stuff, we'll get to that later. Those are what I call the boring questions because those are things that are essential in order to plan a trip. However, it doesn't make or break the trip. What makes or breaks the trip is like providing someone with what it is that they're looking for and really just making that come to life. So that's my goal right now is to get all of that stuff. But where have you guys traveled with?
Let's see, we've been to Jamaica, we've been to Cozumel, we've been to I've been to Mexico. We've been to Mexico, other places in Mexico. We've driven down into Mexico actually. And we've been to, oh gosh, I'm trying to think. Um, Grand Cayman, and lots of places around the United States and Canada, Toronto, stuff like that.
Okay. So it sounds like you guys have definitely done your fair share of travels throughout the US, Canada, Mexico, but really it sounds like Grand Cayman and Jamaica are maybe the only two places that outside of those areas that you've been to. Does that sound pretty accurate?
Yeah, and Cozumel, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
like Western Caribbean
Okay.
mostly.
Okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
So Bermuda, I have not been to Bermuda. I'm actually dying to get there. However, I've been on 17 cruises, so I've seen my fair share of waters, if you want to say. Um,
Mhm.
However, I have not seen a pink beach. I will say that the location of Bermuda, I absolutely love because it is kind of close to Aruba, and the ABC Islands, which essentially is Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. Um, and that is more like the Southern Caribbean, right? So Bermuda is a obviously opposite of Western. It's I would say between like Eastern and Southern, but the waters are just beautiful. So regardless of the pink sandy beach, which definitely is top of mind for me, since that's something that you mentioned, I think that would be an ideal place for you guys to go, just chatting.
That sounds good. That sounds
Yeah.
good.
Okay,
So you
cool.
mentioned cruising. You mentioned cruising. Is that a good option, do you think?
It depends, right? So I think it could be a good option for a family that likes adventure, um, because you do visit multiple places, right? There's cruises that vary from 3 nights to however many nights you want to go. I would say I've always done like the 7 night. I would love to do a little bit of a longer cruise in the future. However, the only downside to cruising is you have a limited amount of time on each place. So if you were to stop at Bermuda, which Bermuda is kind of limited as far as cruising goes. They don't really stop in Bermuda all the time. It's mostly like Eastern Caribbean, Southern Caribbean, but that's not really a part of it. I'm sure there are some cruise lines that do it. However, it's not something that I typically see every day. With that said, it really just depends, you know, how often do you want to stay at a spot, you know, or port, because typically they're 8 hours.
Yeah. Huh. Well, but what do you think if we're like at a resort, then aren't we just limited to just that area in the resort? What do you,
Yeah, exactly. So that's a really good question. So there's there's a short answer and there's a long answer. The short answer is yes, it's just the resort. However, I look at what's offered at the all-inclusive resorts, or even if it's not all-inclusive, like what is there to do at the resort, right? Because the purpose actually of an all-inclusive is, back in the day at least, is they created it so that you didn't have to leave the resort. You literally had everything on premise to do, so that you didn't have to leave and feel a little bit risky in the third world countries. Times have obviously changed, but the reason I say that is because you just have you should have a lot to do on resort premise, and then you can have days for excursions and stuff, right? That's kind of where I step into, where I plan everything from start to finish for you. So from our call today until you return home from the trip, I'm doing it all for you. I literally don't want you to lift a finger. Okay. I want you to reach out to me if there's anything that happens. Right now, I'm just trying to really understand like that vision so that I can go back, do my research, and present a few different options to you. And we'll do that over the phone, where I'll really explain my thought behind each option.
so I could, that way that takes me out of the equation and my kids aren't going to be mad at me. I'm just saying that she's going to know what you guys like and she's going to make the plan.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, wow, that makes it a lot easier. So how much does that cost?
Yeah, I don't
I
want
mean,
you to worry about
I
that.
don't,
Yeah, don't worry about
okay.
that right now, because that's something that we can work out, right? I don't want the focus to ever be money. I want it to be about giving you that $1 million vacation at the fraction of a cost. Because the deals and stuff that I find typically offset any costs that I have anyways.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So when are you
All
looking to
right.
go exactly?
I would love to do this, like after the spring breakers are done, so it's not as busy. So sometime after that, but before the summer.
Okay. Can you give me like a time frame? Like
Oh
months at
gosh.
least?
So
I know spring
maybe
break varies.
April or May or something.
Okay.
We're pretty flexible.
Okay. Now, what about since it's after spring break, are you flexible with taking your kids out of school?
I homeschool, so it's okay.
Okay. Okay.
We like to go in the off season. Sometimes we save money because we go in the off season and it's
Smart.
not as crowded. So yeah.
I like
And
where
my
your
husband
head's
and
at.
I both have our own business. So we
Amazing.
can take off whenever.
I love
Yeah.
it. So are what are the like the dates that do not work? You know, there's a time frame, April between, you know, before summer, after spring break, but what dates on the calendar are dates that absolutely do not work, so I don't schedule over those dates?
Mm, I want to say that I don't want to get too close to the end of May when it's close to, because we have birthdays during that time.
Okay.
And I don't want to be away for the birthday. The kids are going to want to be with their friends and stuff. So I would definitely say maybe closer to the beginning or mid-April. And I'd like to go for at least 10 days if we can.
Absolutely. So when you say um April to end of April, beginning of May, or mid-April, beginning of May, for 10 days, let's break that down a little bit more. So resort wise, what you don't care so much about the view, but do you care about the room view when you wake up?
Yes, I want to be able to see the water. I
Okay.
want to be able to sit out on a balcony or a patio and hear the water and be able to see the water and close enough that we could take a midnight walk on the beach or something like that, or as long as we're safe. You think we'd be safe to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. Typically they have people like security people that are walking the resorts just to do checks at night and stuff. So there should never really be an issue with that.
Yeah, I think that that sounds magical. Like I want to have some nice quiet evenings. We can have a few drinks. But yeah, I think that sounds to be near the water,
Yeah.
like to be able to see the water when I wake up, have my coffee or something, that would be great.
Okay, I love it. So there's five of you. Now, I will say that
Yeah.
sometimes some resorts, it could be a little bit tricky to get in one room. So that's obviously the goal. However, are you open to two rooms?
I would definitely actually, if we could have like joining rooms so we can put the kids in the other room and my husband and I can have a little privacy, that
Yeah.
would be great. I think the kids would like that too. That would be better. They're old enough that they're not gonna cause too much of a ruckus, but young enough that they're not gonna hopefully sneak out or do anything crazy.
Yeah, definitely. That's absolutely easy to accomplish. I will say that the goal will be joining rooms. However, that can't be promised. On cruises, it can. With hotels, it can't be promised. But typically, what I do after I make the reservations is I'll call, right? I'll call ahead of time. I've worked in a hotel as a supervisor before, I know how the systems work. So I'll call ahead of the time and I'll say, hey, I just made these reservations. I'll give them the numbers. And then typically they can pair them together and notate the account to have the rooms be joining and or close. If you do it far enough in
Okay.
advance, they can room block it. So it really just depends
Oh,
on the
okay.
management and everything, but that's just kind of how
Yeah.
it works. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that'd be good. And I guess even if they weren't like joining, as long as they're, near each other, that'd probably be okay too, because they are a little older. When they were younger, we always wanted to make sure that we could leave the door open and have access, but
Yeah,
it'd
absolutely.
probably
Those
be okay.
yeah, absolutely. All right. And then as far as additional amenities, I guess what's important to you in a resort?
All inclusive. I don't want to have to worry about any extras. I would like to just have, everything included so that the kids and, they can just freely do, have a little bit of freedom, I guess, or some, uh, you know, um, in a resort. Let's see. Gosh, I don't know what kind of options do I have?
Yeah, absolutely. So all inclusive. I'm sure you want a variety of restaurants when you say that. I know
Mhm.
me, I like a variety of restaurants at an all inclusive resort and food. Like the quality of the food is really important to me. I'm a
Oh,
foodie.
us too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the quality, I'm really into reading the reviews before I even suggest them, just because I would never send my client somewhere that I personally wouldn't go. And if there is a place that I wouldn't go and it is part of a wish and a desire of my client, I'll at least give you my opinion and let you do what you want with it. So that's just a little bit
Okay.
of how
Do
I
you
feel
have like a brand of resorts that you like the best, or you just it's just can they vary from location to location?
Yeah, I'm not a brandy at all whatsoever. It's
Oh, okay.
really, yeah, I don't stick with just one brand. I know that, over the years, that's kind of how things have been done. However, I'm a pretty independent hotel picker, if you call me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just because, I think some resorts are very underrated and they actually are the best, but just because marketing, branding, whatever, they're just not at the top of the list. That doesn't mean that it's bad quality, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, so I like to,
Yeah, I like something cute too. Like when you mentioned that, I thought, oh, that'd be nice to just get something that's cute, maybe a little bit different even. That would be fun. I do want to mention like what I envision is I love to listen to live music.
okay.
So any kind of like entertainment that's like music that we can just sit and have some drinks and I can just, be mellow and relax, that would be great. I
Okay.
assume that
Yeah,
does
absolutely.
all inclusive mean that? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it depends from hotel to hotel. That's partially what goes into the reviews, though, right? Reading the reviews is really understanding the concept and the layout of which each resort has. I'm like you, I love live music, so it's important that I find hotels that have lounges with live music as an option.
Mhm.
Just because I like there to be stuff at night. I don't want it to die when
Right,
the sun goes down, right? I want to be able to enjoy
right, right,
time and not feel like I need to leave the resort because there's nothing to do.
right.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Sets the mood, doesn't it? Yeah. We can
Yeah,
do a little dancing or yeah, that sounds
uh,
good.
of course. All right. And then as far as flight preferences, tell me a little bit more about that. What airport? You said Scottsdale, so are you flying out of Phoenix?
Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll fly out of Phoenix. Yeah. And then yeah, I mean, honestly, I guess it depends on how long the flight is. I get a little antsy and I need to move. I'm short, but I still need to move around a little bit. I can't just sit. My legs will swell up, you know how that goes. But
Yeah. Yeah.
so if it's a shorter flight, economy would be fine. I would rather save the money for excursions or something. But if it's a longer flight, like if we did get down to Bermuda or something, and if that's a little bit of that's a long flight, right? Then I would definitely want to go at least business class because I need a little bit of room. We've got some points. Can we use like our points?
So the way that points work, you can use them. I can't book it for you, right? So typically
Okay.
what I have my clients do that want to use points, um, there's different there's different flights sometimes available depending on the cards that you're using or the airline. I know back in the day I tried to find flights for a client that had mileage plus with United, and when they went to redeem their points, the availability or like the nonstop flights and things like that was very different than what was online. So
Mm,
if you want to
okay.
book it
Well,
on your
that's okay.
own,
My husband flies a lot for business, so he could just save and use them then. If it makes it
okay.
easier for to not use them, that's fine. I don't want to make it more complicated.
Yeah, absolutely. Whatever you guys want, I'm willing to work with. I would just say, let's see what I can find as far as the flights go. And then, if you guys decide you want to go that route, go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So
then,
is there a way to like see like for you to show me like what would be some options
yeah.
of
So,
like places to go?
yeah. So I'll give you in like a minute, we'll talk about what it's going to look like, right? As far
Okay.
as the flights, though, to close out on that, are you open to layovers?
How long?
So my rule of thumb is between 1 and 4 hours. One, because
Oh, okay.
yeah, so you don't want less than one because then you're running from each
Mm,
section, right? Or
yeah.
gate. However, no more than 4 hours unless a client is wanting a longer layover because I would never want to sit in an airport that long. So
Yeah, that would be a good opportunity to get out and stretch our legs and have
yeah,
some lunch.
yeah,
I'm weird, but I like to have lunch at an airport.
I do too. I'm with you.
But yeah, I love to do it. I'll arrive early just so I can make sure that I can have lunch at the airport
Yeah,
before I leave.
I love it.
So yeah, that would be fine then. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and you could save a little bit money too, typically with layovers. So you could save those
Mm,
points in the business class or something else. Um,
okay.
and then as far as airline preferences, do you have any airlines that you typically prefer to fly or airlines that you absolutely do not want to fly?
No, I'm open. I know some people won't fly like Spirit or Allegiant, but I'm fine with it.
Okay. So those are the
Mm,
only airlines I won't book just because I've had so many issues with them myself. And their customer service is not the greatest. Like I know Frontier per
okay.
se, you can't even get someone on the phone. And if you want to speak to someone, you have to pay $25 to speak to someone at the airport. It's insane. So I steer clear
Okay.
from those. Um,
Okay.
and then as far as transfers, I'm assuming you guys are gonna need transfers to and from the airport to the hotel, right?
Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
Are you open to like a shared shuttle or are you guys looking for more of a
Yeah.
private?
No, shared is fine. I like to talk to people. I usually meet people on the shuttle.